The Lotus Mark II, built in 1949, was a natural evolution of the idea that Colin Chapman had begun a year earlier with the Mark I. Although it was still constructed in the conditions of a home garage, the Mark II was a more ambitious and mature project, reflecting the designer's growing skills. Encouraged by the success of his first car in trial competitions, Chapman set out to create a machine capable of competing not only in trials, but also in circuit racing and so-called speed trials. The Mark II was intended to be more versatile, faster, and technically more advanced. Once again, the foundation of the Mark II was the Austin 7, but it was modified far more extensively than in the previous model. Chapman rebuilt the chassis, increasing its rigidity with additional tubular reinforcements and revised longitudinal members. The suspension geometry was completely redesigned and adapted for dynamic driving on asphalt surfaces. In doing so, Chapman began developing the distinctive Lotus philosophy of balancing stiffness and flexibility, an approach that would later prove crucial in the company's racing cars. The Austin 7 engine was also thoroughly reworked. For the first time, Chapman fitted an SU carburetor and developed an improved cylinder head to increase the small unit's output. Although the Mark II did not boast impressive horsepower figures, the key to its performance was weight. The car weighed just over 350 kilograms. As a result, it accelerated quickly, changed direction with ease, and handled uneven sections effectively, giving it an advantage in both trial events and sprint races. One of the most important improvements in the Mark II was better weight distribution. Chapman positioned the battery and certain auxiliary components on the passenger side to improve balance during rapid directional changes. The steering system was also refined, with a quicker ratio providing more immediate response. Together, these modifications made the Mark II significantly more precise and stable than the Mark I, allowing Chapman to compete against increasingly strong rivals. The bodywork was crafted from lightweight aluminum panels shaped by hand. Aerodynamics were improved. While still far from the forms of later Lotus models, the Mark II was more streamlined and offered better visibility and ergonomics. The interior, as expected from a competition vehicle, was minimalist. It consisted of little more than the driver's seat, simple gauges, and essential switches. Any unnecessary element that added weight was eliminated, establishing a philosophy that would define Lotus for decades. The Mark II quickly proved its competitiveness in trial competitions, where lightness and agility were decisive. Chapman secured further victories, and his car came to be regarded as one of the most effective machines in its class. Importantly, the Mark II also competed in road and sprint races, achieving success there as well. This broad range of applications demonstrated Chapman's ability to create vehicles that were both versatile and specialized enough to outperform the competition. The racing achievements of the Mark II brought Chapman growing recognition within the motorsport community. It was through this car that he established early contacts with individuals who would later support the development of Lotus engineering. Interest in his designs increased, and the Mark II became an informal calling card for the talented young engineer. Many future collaborators later recalled that it was the Mark II that truly revealed Chapman's potential, opening the door to more serious projects. With the Mark II, Chapman also tested solutions that would influence later Lotus models. He experimented with different springs, dampers, final drive ratios, and alternative brake system designs. The car functioned as a living laboratory, enabling continuous refinement of his understanding of vehicle dynamics. Every failure, every success, and every result on the course contributed to the development of an engineering philosophy later described as Chapmanism, structural minimalism combined with perfection in lightweight architecture. Although still amateur in form, the Mark II represented a crucial step between the simple Mark I and the more professional Mark III, which signaled Lotus's future in circuit racing. The 1949 design proved that Chapman could build cars that were not only light, but also fast and effective in varied conditions. Thanks to the Mark II, Lotus evolved from a personal project into a venture with the potential to become a fully established company. Hazel Williams, Colin's partner, also played a significant role, supporting him both logistically and financially. Today, the Lotus Mark II is an invaluable part of the brand's history. Although not all examples have survived, and despite being far removed from the standards of later Formula One machines, it remains a foundation of Lotus tradition and the beginning of Colin Chapman's professional journey. The Mark II demonstrated that an outstanding design does not need to be expensive or complicated. It must be intelligent, lightweight, and entirely performance-driven. It stands as one of the key artifacts of post-war British motoring, symbolizing the birth of a vision that would change motorsport forever.